Hello, good evening, and welcome to this webinar on project management certifications. As we have previously stated in our previous webinars, that my own personal experience in project management for a span of almost 3 decades now, acting as a professional engineer and a professional project manager, I have come to realize that there are 6 principles that assure successful project management. However, there is one condition. If this condition is absent, no matter what, the luck and the chances of a project to succeed becomes extremely diminished. And this condition is the assignment of a competent projects manager. Without assignment, like the headline states, these are Dr. Akram's 6 principles for effective project management, given a competent projects management on board. So today we are going to talk about project management competence assurance. How do I know I have a competent project manager? And does certification really answer this question? The question, which is, can I really be assured that an appropriate project manager is on board based on certifications alone? Well, the answer for such question is it depends, actually. It depends on how complex and how technically demanding your project is. Projects that are simple and projects that are does not require a specialty technical competence are straightforward, and certifications could be sufficient way to quality assure the project manager's competence to assume leadership for such projects. However, for more complex projects, it is a combination of other domain competences, which is what we mean by domain competence is the technical requirements or the field that the project manager possesses, as well as some experience based on how complex the project is. So if I have an engineering project, I need to hire a project manager who is either an engineer or somebody who is an engineering manager who studied engineering management. So he understands how to manage engineering projects, for example, because managing engineering projects, for example, requires compliance because it's a safety critical endeavor. So it requires more assurance to be provided, not only to the project stakeholders, but also to the public at large. So hiring somebody who's an engineer or somebody who's qualified in engineering management will not assure the success of a project. Statistics has shown that projects that did not have competent project managers had a success rate of about 30%. And like we classically know a project is successful when it meets the triple constraints of cost, time, and scope. However, in reality, a project is called successful when we say 30% of projects are successful. They did not meet cost, they have cost overrun, they did not meet schedule, they have delays, and probably they did not fulfill the entire scope. Why do we call them successful? Because they were accepted by their customers or end users, and that's the only reason we call them successful. But they also did not meet the constraints. So they are only successful because they were accepted by customers. So what about the 70% projects that are not successful? These are total disasters. It's just money wasted. Projects that did not meet any objective and did not result in any customer satisfaction or customer acceptance. So it's very, 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 very unlikely to succeed. You have like only 30% success factor. It means for every successful project, you have 2.5 failed projects. So projects becomes a very risky business. Okay, what if I have a competent project manager? When I have a competent project manager, my success rate increases to 50%. So also project management with a competent project manager is still a very risky business. However, here when we call a project successful and compared to a successful project, 30% of projects that are successful without a competent project management, the difference lies in the amount of cost overrun and the amount of project delay. So if you are managing a project, you should concentrate, because it's your duty as a project manager to assure meeting scope, time, and cost constraints. However, if you do not meet this, your project could still be successful if you understand and experience, because we say project management is an art and science. So what's meant by science? It is something that you could learn. But what we mean by art, we mean something that you should acquire from somebody before you. So you need to have some experience working on projects with competent project managers and experienced project managers before you become a project manager yourself. Because through the art and science of project management, you will understand how to recover a project so it does not drift so far away from its constraints. So when you have like a cost overrun or you have a project delay, it is limited and it's reasonable. Also, you know how to recover the most important factor in assuring a project success, which is recover the project reputation. Again, you cannot learn the art without the science. So here, I need to make sure when I'm selecting a project manager that the project manager has some experience under the guidance of previous or people preceding him in project management, but he must already be qualified and certified to understand and appreciate what is happening around him in the project. So if he's not certified before working on projects under guidance, it's very unlikely that he will notice what's going around him and gain the required art or experience like we want him to do. So yes, certification is a very important factor, and not just certification. Like I said, even if he has a certificate and he's a graduate of engineering management, he cannot assume projects without proper certification in project management. So we need project management certification, and we need relevant experience, and we need domain expertise. So what is a project management certification? It is a confirmation that a person has passed a test, which is an assessment to prove competence. It's awarded to a person, not to an organization. And here we have to note that organizations are also evaluated and certified according to what we call Project Management Maturity Model, OPM3. And we also need to have competent organizations. But here we are talking about competence of project managers, not competence of organizations. So we have three general types. We have corporate, which is internal certificates. It means that the corporate itself will have somebody to come in-house and deliver a custom project management course. We have a product-specific types, like for example, we have ITIL, which is specific for information technology tickets management. And we have what we refer to as profession-wide, which is like PMI, PMP, PMI is PMP, and Excellence or People Certs Prince 2 certifications. So we have three different categories. We have competence-based, and we have knowledge-based, and we have experience-based. And competence-based is Prince 2, knowledge-based is PMP, and experience-based is IPMA. So why do such certifications exist? They are created to meet three different but related needs. Companies to make sure their employees can benchmark their knowledge, experience, and competence. And it also helps in recruitment. Clients to determine that their contracted projects will be managed in a professional manner. And project managers for personal development. It provides a project manager with a seal of approval, and it defines the project manager's career path. And I need here to mention that project management is recognized as a career path and required by the American government, USA government, through an act which was called PMIAA Act, which is Program Management Improvement and Accountability Framework. And this dictates that any financial expenditure of taxpayers' money on any government project should be managed by a competent project manager based on what is defined in PMIA Act or law. It's Project Management Improvement and Accountability Act. And through this act, a defined career path for project managers is outlined. And here what we mean by a career path for project managers, it means if I have like 5 years experience, I can manage up to, for example, $5 million. If I have 15 years experience, I can manage up to $50 million. If I have like 50 like 25 years of experience, I can manage up to, for example, over $100 million. So it defines who assumes leadership of projects financed by taxpayers' money in the United States, which is very important because, like we mentioned in our introductory slide, success rate of projects increases significantly through hiring competent project managers. Not only that, but they also reduce the waste in successful or failed projects, thus preserving the national treasure or the national income through good practices in project management. So as an individual, why should I get a project management certification? Because once you get certification from a reliable institute, you become qualified to showcase your skills. You don't really have to explain to me that you know project management, as long as you hold a credential like PMP, for example, especially PMP. Well, not especially PMP, because we only tend to recognize PMP before like 2015, for example, because after a certain time, the reliability of PMP certifications has lost its credibility because control of who gets the certificate has not been very well enforced, actually. So salary rate, you get increased in salary when you are certified. Show skills on the field. A certification equips you with both knowledge and experience. Yes, and it's true because some of the experience you need to get to acquire the art of project management could be obtained from the classroom through discussions and exchanged failed and successful stories of projects with peers in the classroom and, of course, with the course instructor. A certified project manager is well aware of the processes aiming to deliver the project in time. This leads to better performance and boost in overall productivity, and it is investment for the future as with regards to your career path, because it sets you in the right way to start to upgrade your designation as a project manager according to a methodology like IPMA, for example, or according to PMIAA, or Project Management Improvement and Accountability Act. Again, why you should get one? You will be able to prove your professional knowledge, competence, and experience through an objective party. You will increase your credibility and personal market value. You will create possibilities for further career development. You will learn new things about project management and yourself. You will contribute to raising the standard of project management, and this you can do through joining the community of project management and sharing your lessons learned. Like, for example, I contributed by providing Dr. Akram's 6 principles for successful projects. So you too could contribute to the improvement of the project management profession. Project management profession is almost 60 years old. So it is a relatively very, very new field of knowledge. There is a great room for improvement. There is a great room for contribution. So you should appreciate your experience and knowledge, and you should be very confident that the information you have to share will improve the profession. So you could be part of defining the new ways to manage the new and better and improved ways to manage projects in the future. So we have growth in membership in PMI. Like I said, you need to be part of a community, and when to improve project management. And what we mean by a community is you become a member in a recognized project management body or institution, like for example PMI. And here, like we see through the years, in 1980, very few PMPs. In the 90s, a slight increase. In 2000s, we have seen like a boom in number of project managers. And I have to mention here what I have personally experienced and why it started in 1980s. It started in 1980s because of computer and computer projects and the huge losses, the financial losses due to failed computer projects in the United States and then in Europe, resulted in starting to strengthen and grow the project management profession, because it was realized that project success is related to structured project management methodologies, and it was like a well-guarded secret. It was not available to all people and not available to all countries and nations. It was a very well protected and guarded secret, but they had to release it because of globalization and projects which are important to international players are actually taking place internationally. So they released this knowledge, and we were very lucky to acquire it and to become part of managing successful projects. Managing successful projects is not like a rocket science. However, it is a very complex and specialized field of management. So we start to see growth. Our driver in Egypt and how we were introduced to project management certification and why it grew significantly. It was mainly because of the oil and gas industry in Egypt. ISO certification for safety and for quality started to become big time in the early 90s, and it was a standard practice around 2000s, and everybody needed to be certified in some way or another. So they demanded certifications for welders, and we started to look for bodies all over the world to certify our welders. We needed to certify our safety professionals, we needed to certify our quality professionals, and we needed also to certify project managers. Egypt has been a member of IPMA from the early 60s when IPMA was first created. However, becoming a project manager certified by IPMA, especially in the early days, was almost impossible because, like I said, the knowledge itself was a well-guarded secret, and it was very unlikely for anyone to succeed in such exams. Books were not available. Of course, internet was not created. So it was, especially in our part of the world, it was almost impossible. Like, for example, we had during the years in Egypt, maybe less than 15 people who ever got certified to level maybe C or B, not even level A. Maybe level A, IPMA, maybe 4 or 5 Egyptians only made it. So it was very impossible for us as companies to certify our project managers. And this is where PMP and PMI became an obvious solution. So PMP was introduced, and when it was introduced in Egypt, it actually exploded. And everybody in Egypt became a PMP, and PMP became a mainstream certificate in Egypt and in the Gulf region. And the more people got certified as PMPs, the more demand for PMP, especially in Gulf region, has risen. And accordingly, PMP became a world benchmark for project management. Maybe other countries like India, Pakistan, they were also required to perform what we were required to perform with regards to certifying our project managers, and they ended up with a similar conclusion, which is the PMP way. So we ended up with an international boom in PMP certification. And we are going to review the history of certification soon now. Okay, why you should get more than one certification? Actually, I believe, my own personal belief is one should become a PMP first. Then if he desires to get further and more certification, he can get certified, especially if it is required by his job to get a certain certification, he should get it. But PMP provides a very solid foundation and base for a project management professional to learn other methodologies without having to attend the classes or being certified. Because PMP is knowledge based, and it has a huge body of knowledge against which the seeker of project management professional certification is examined and tested. And because he acquired or she acquired such an expansive body of knowledge, it provides her with the ability to understand and learn the other methodologies, except for when it comes to agile project management, which is a totally new methodology group of methodologies actually, and a total game changer. So here it's again a place where a PMP has to attend courses and learn about agile project management. Again, it's not necessary to be certified, but a minimum amount of knowledge in agile is required, particularly that PM book 7th edition is principles based, and it is heavily influenced by agile practices, because agile practices proved to be proved to include very good tools with regards to performance efficiency of project teams. Okay, what are the benefits to your organization when you are certified? What does your organization gain? And you need to know such information, particularly if you want your organization to pay for your education and certification. So your organizations, once it has one or more certified project managers, it starts to create a project management culture within the organization, reduces delays and improves efficiency, lowering time to market and raising return on investment, improves stakeholder satisfaction and trust, creates a career path for project managers, builds trust with clients, and opens doors to new ones. Very important. Contributes to higher billing rate for project management services. Okay, so let's overview our project management certifications. We have more than 1 million project managers certified worldwide today. Global certification bodies, mainly PMI, IPMA, and APMG. APMG is no longer, does not exist anymore. It's changed. Axelos, and Axelos also was recently taken over by PeopleCert. But why we still use the APMG? Because PMI is a body which is like almost a government body. It's American institution, and it is closely related to the American government. So it's almost a government institution. The same goes for IPMA. It is located in Switzerland, and it represents Europe and the European community, and it is the oldest institute for project management worldwide. And APMG is the UK body for project management, and it is part of the cabinet of ministers of UK. However, it has been privatized in 2013 and through a partnership with Excelos, and in 2021, I think, Excelos itself was purchased by PeopleCert. So these three bodies are almost government bodies. They are not private. One is European, one is British, and one is American. And of course, they are widely recognized globally. We have national certification bodies, and here these are American bodies which are local to America. AIPM, AMA, whatever these stand for, but these are the national which are only recognized within their country of issuance. And we have also international bodies like Six Sigma, GIAC, and CompTIA, but they provide project management certification that is customized to manage only certain type of projects. For example, Six Sigma only manages quality improvement projects. CompTIA only manages IT projects. And we have certifications from product companies like Microsoft, SAP, Infosys, and Google. So we have global certification bodies, and like I said, why we refer to this three as global certification bodies, because they are almost government bodies. APMG was a government body and it became privatized. IPMA is so old and so big, and it was so connected to governments worldwide. And like I mentioned, Egypt as a country was a member in IPMA, and we still are members of IPMA, and we still have IPMA representation in Egypt. So it's also almost a government body, so closely related to government entities. So PMI Project Management Institute is an organization with more than 500,000 certified from over 180 countries with headquarters in the US. The theoretical foundation is documented in PM Book Guide, a guide to the project management body of knowledge. Certifications include PMP Project Management Professional, CAPM, which is Certified Associate Project Management, and PMI ACP, which is an Agile Certified Professional. IPMA, International Project Management Association, is a Switzerland-based organization with about 130 individuals from just over 40 countries certified. ICB IMPA competence baseline is used as frame of reference for their certifications. IPMA level the D2A. Like we see here, we have 180 countries. Here we only have 40 countries. And here we have 130,000 individuals. And here we have like 500,000. It shows why PMI and PMP are the most popular certifications worldwide. And this is mainly due to IPMA certifications are very, very difficult to achieve. Now we come to Prince 2. People, like I said, APMG is a UK-based global accreditation body which develops and delivers qualification schemes for knowledge-based workers. The company is the official accreditor of the UK government's Cabinet Office for qualifications based on their best practice guidance portfolio. It owns ITIL and it owns Prince 2. So UK created its own certification for government projects. At first, it was only for information and IT and computer projects, and later it became mandatory for all projects. Like I said, recently, very recently, at the beginning of Trump administration, which is like 8 years ago, only recently, very recently, the United States has created the PMIAA, which is Project Management Improvement and Accountability Act, which serves the same purpose as APMG served the UK government many, many decades ago. It took the United States almost over 3 decades to understand that governments need to have professional, certified, accredited, competent project managers to lead their projects, even though the UK has already adopted such approach a few decades ago. Of course, I don't want to criticize, but probably no other countries have such requirements for dedicated project managers as a career path with regards to government projects. So now let's compare Prince 2 and PMP. Why we are going to focus on comparison between PMP and PMI and PMP and Prince 2? Because like I said, IPMA is not like a public certificate and it's not mainstream. It's not easy to get certified, and only like if it is required, somebody will go and become IPMA. Maybe they will change this. Also, Prince 2 was only limited inside the UK government projects until 2013. Somebody in the UK realized that PMP certification generates a huge income, money. When you get certified, you pay money. When you pay for membership in PMI, you pay money. You're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars come from all around the world to PMI, either for certification or for membership. So the UK wanted a piece of the pie, so they subsidized their flagship project management certificate, which is Prince 2. And once they subsidized it to Excelos, Excelos started to market Prince 2 worldwide. And like I said, the recent body of knowledge PM book 7th edition is unrelated to all previous editions due to two factors. First factor, agile influence, and the second factor is the Prince 2 certification influence. So people working in project management in PMI as specialized academics, they knew nothing about how Prince 2 could lead to successful projects. So Prince 2 contained many powerful tools and techniques that PMP totally lacked. Like I said, because project management as a science and art, it is a very well, or was a very well protected secret. Now we almost have the formula of success for projects. Personally, I am sure no more secrets, because while I was applying the PMP methodology, I realized there were some shortcomings. When agile methodology came and I studied agile, I learned that a lot of the shortcomings in PMP methodologies were answered by tools and techniques available in agile methodologies. But some shortcomings were still there, according to my experience. Probably somebody more experienced than myself would, or managing projects much bigger than the projects I managed, might still find that the existing project management knowledge base is lacking. But for me, when Prince 2 came out, I realized that almost all my questions and all my questions regarding project management were answered, and all the shortcomings in the previous methodologies were covered. That's why PM Book's 7th edition, in my opinion, is the state of art in project management. It covers agile, it's built around Prince 2, and still includes the tools and techniques of PMI's PMP. So it's a very powerful source of knowledge, but I doubt it will be easy to teach now, because PMI, what made it very good and very powerful, because they had a very structured way for teaching project management. Teaching project management is very challenging because it's very diverse and it's very big, and some parts are not related and other parts are super interrelated. So teaching project management if you want to plan or to map out how to teach project management, it's like really almost rocket science. However, PMI did a very good job in mapping how to teach project management. This is why PMP became very popular. But now the body of knowledge, 7th edition, is so big. Like I said, it contains Prince 2, it contains Agile, and it contains PM Book 6. So it's, I don't know. We will just have to wait and see how PMI is going to come up with a way to teach project management according to PM Book 7th edition. So why we do PMP and Prince 2 in detail, like we just mentioned, because they are more widely used. So CIO magazine ranked the PMP as the top project management certification because it proves you have the specific skills and experience employers seek. I second this opinion. Yes, PMI's PM Book 7th edition, against which students are examined for PMP, is a very expansive and comprehensive body of knowledge for project management, and it's state of the art and it is up to date. Prince 2, which is projects in controlled environments, is one of the most widely used methods for managing projects in the world. It is a structured project management method based on experience drawn from thousands of projects and from the contributions of countless project sponsors, project managers, project teams, academics, trainers, and consultants. So Prince 2 is not teaching you the science behind the art, but Prince 2 teaches the art itself as science. So what do I mean by the art as science? Like I said, art is what we apply, what we learn through experience, what we develop knowledge in through experience. So art is the application. So Prince 2 teaches you the art as a science, while PM Book teaches you science as an art. So you need to study PMP to understand the science and the logic behind the methodology. However, Prince 2, it's not prescriptive, like it does not tell you do X, Y, Z as steps. No, it does not. It's principles based. It will give you a principle. It will give you a principle like you need to have continuous business justification. So it will tell you need to have a business case. You need to have a business case continuously justified. So it gives you the principle you need to have in a very non-prescriptive format, but it is a structure. You need to have this, you need to have this, you need to have this, you need to have this. On the other hand, PMI will give you tools and techniques and processes, inputs and outputs, and it explains what's happening inside the process and what's happening in inputs and what's happening in outputs and where to obtain it. So it just gives you a if I'm talking about a dimension, project management dimension, or project management universe, or project management world, it gives you a description. You understand project management environment through studying and learning from PMI methodology. However, it could be overwhelming information and overwhelming knowledge and overwhelmingly maybe academic. So you could get a little bit lost in application. Like, that's why people abandoned PMP and went to agile methodologies, which is a very and super simplified way to manage projects, but it has its shortcomings as well. And it shared some shortcomings with PMI methodology. Like, for example, what we mentioned here is the need to have a continuous business justification, which is very much stressed in Prince 2 and was totally overlooked by PMI. So here we really have a total dimension and a total universe of knowledge through PMP, but you could get lost in the application. That's why we needed the simplification, went to agile methodology. But Prince 2 lays a foundational principle-based path for implementation of project management. So let's here see how demand for different certifications is divided. Like you see here, IPMA is only in UK, Switzerland, Germany. I just cannot see, but only very few European countries apply IPMA methodologies, because like I mentioned, it's very difficult to become certified against IPMA. And now if we take a look at Prince 2, it's mainly here in the UK and some European countries, but it's not very widely distributed across the entire globe. Like you see here, you have PMP. This is PMP. You have all, this is PMP, this dark green or medium green, all this is PMP. And you have here the countries. You have Canada, you have the United States, you have Mexico, you have Spain. Here you come here, you have South Africa, you have United Arab Emirates, you have India, you have Vietnam, China, Japan, Australia. Even Australia is using PMP and not using Prince 2 or IPMA. So it's even though it seems to be more of a UK related country. Same goes for Canada. However, PMP is much more widely used in Canada and in Australia than Prince 2 and IPMA. So now let's take a look at history. And there are certain important dates. We are only going to mention those. Now just give me a second. I'm trying to get a clearer So Prince 2 introduced concept of principles-based management system, and it's also emphasized continuous business justifications like we mentioned. And project management started in early 19th century, around 1910, and this is when the Gantt chart was developed. Also in 1950, like 40 years later, the critical path method was invented. So when we talk about Gantt chart and when we talk about critical path method in the early 10s and 50s, they were developed in academic setting uh, by by professors, let's say professors, and it was highly guarded secrets. Many parts of the world did not know anything about it. Even people who studied civil engineering, and project management is integral part in civil engineering, used to be, of course, now it's integral part in computer and technology. But at the time, even though they were studying project management, many parts and many tools and techniques were kept hidden from syllabuses taught outside certain universities in certain countries around the world. So in 1965, we have IPMA was created in Switzerland. In 1969, Project Management Institute was created in the United States. And in 1975, like here we have 4 years after Switzerland, the United States created its PMI Institute. And 6 years after United States, the UK introduced its Prince2 certification. And in 1989, so after 15 years, almost 15 years, so Prince2 was created in 1975, but in 1989, like almost 15 years later, Prince method derived from is published by the UK government agency and became the UK standard for all government information projects. So government information projects were required to be managed using Prince2 methodology, and as such needed to have a Prince2 certified manager managing the projects. In 1996, very soon now, in 1989, UK said only computer and technology projects owned by government will be managed using Prince2. In 1996, just 7 years later, the UK government said all government projects shall be managed using Prince2. And like I said, finally, in 8 years ago, so it is like around 2016, when PMIA was approved into a law or endorsed into a law and was put into application in the United States. Okay, are there other certifications other than Prince2 and PMP? We have, like I said, certified associate project manager, and it requires 1 year of experience. We have IPMA level D and level C. So here, no experience is required. 3-hour written exam, level of over 20 hours over 3 months. So at the time, in the 60s, even though no experience is required and only an exam needs to be taken, nobody was able to pass the exam because knowledge itself was kept a secret. So here, level C, we have experience, we have exam, and we have things like that. And then we come to level B. And again, here is the number of who are certified around the world. He says here 100,000, 40,000. And here, when it comes to level B, only 10,000 from 1969 till today. So we have like 50 years. In 50 years, only 10,000 certified professionals according to level B worldwide. And they also have a level A, but I don't know if we have it here. Level A does not require an exam, but it requires a very, very thorough interview by a panel. So somebody will have an oral exam for many hours to prove he deserves or he has earned the honor to become an IPMA level A project manager. Here, Prince 2, they are giving numbers. I am not sure if it's true, like 900,000, 600,000. I'm not sure these numbers are true. We have Agile certified for Agile project management certifications. We have Agile certified professional by PMI. Again, like I said, having a PMI certificate as PMP for project management, I also recommend having Agile certified practitioner certificate from PMI. I also recommend membership of PMI rather than any other institution because they are always up to date. Okay. Also, PMI has risk management professional certification, scheduling professional certification, and Excelos have ITIL. And ITIL is an approach for IT service management with different levels. So here, ITIL, so people always ask me during live discussions previously, telling me that they are managing IT call centers, for example, and they find it unpractical to use Agile and to use PMP methodology. So here we have ITIL methodology, which is an approach for IT service management with different levels. And here is a further breakdown and explanation for the IT methodology, ITIL methodology. So if somebody is a service manager, he's managing tickets, and tickets are more or less projects, but they are like micro projects, but they do meet the definition of a project. They have a beginning, they have an ending, and they have a unique output. But it's impossible, of course, to manage such ticketing system using PMP or Agile methodologies. So ITIL methodology is the answer. So you need to know how to select your certification. Many factors influence which certification to choose: traditional or agile, level of experience, general or specific, where will you work, local or global projects, time frame, investment, financial expectations, knowledge, method, process or behavior, organizational preference. And if you want an agile certification, choose PMI ACP if you meet the requirements and want a general agile certification from a well-established organization. Choose Scrum Alliance certifications if you are working with Scrum already and want to use Agile with it. Choose DSDM consortium certifications if you are working with DSDM already or with Prince2 and want to use Agile with it. My personal recommendations here is to only go for PMI ACP because it covers the syllabus of Scrum Alliance and it covers the syllabus of DSDM, and it is a very, very expansive and comprehensive body of knowledge. Okay, thank you very much for your attendance, and I hope this was a beneficial and useful webinar. And if you have any questions, this is the time to ask your questions. We will allow some time, like 30 seconds for questions, and then we are going to close this meeting. Okay, I thank you very much again for your attendance and wish you a very pleasant evening and good night. Bye bye.